Hey race fans, and welcome to
Formula.
Well, I couldn't have ever tried to predict that race result. Apart from Oscar, you can just throw all of mine and most likely your predictions in the bin and just watch the chaos unfold. I'm just going to touch on quali quickly, which will give us some context to what the hell just happened at the Dutch GP. So Stroll listened to me and did something, and that something was making friends with the Dutch barriers all weekend. I think maybe the jam in the Netherlands is too good to resist. Crashing in FP2 and then the mechanics having to break curfew Friday night to get his car ready for FP3. Then qualifying comes and the first opportunity he gets, he punts it into the barrier and out of Q3 to say thanks to the tired mechanics. Good job, Lancelot. Albon was disappointed with not having the tyres in the right range due to Williams having poor prep lap strategy to do a last run in Q2 when the track was ramping up. On to Hadjar, and after basically not running in all of FP2, he almost outqualified Max, which was unreal. Again from the Petit Professeur, and he was pumped over the radio. He is obviously well rested from the break and ready to stir things up towards the front. He is in real danger of getting promoted to an early grave in that second Red Bull seat. Don't do it, Isaac, don't do it. It looks like Sainz has been in the sim over the summer break because P9 is impressive given that I don't think this track would suit them, and neither did Jimmy V in the team principal press conference. But Alex was looking strong most of the weekend, which is why he was doubly frustrated as he knew a good result was on. On to the McLaren pair, and Lando's been on top all weekend, but Piastri peaked when it mattered in Q3. And a 1-2 for what would have been Bruce McLaren's 88th birthday is a nice touch. Max was looking like having a weekend similar to Hungary, but then as he does, he finds something in qualifying, and right from Q1 he was setting a threatening pace for the McLaren boys. To qualify in P3 can only be topped by Hadjar at this point, so it's a good effort. Hulk had a bad quali again and getting beaten by a rookie teammate in qualifying this year 6-9. Noise. On to the race, and that was a lot to take in with action happening up and down the field. Max had a great start and a nice look around the outside at turn 1 and then wanted to launch it into turn 3 but got a bit squirrely and just about hang on to a tank slapper. Charles had a mega start and only just misses George on a massive up and under at turn 3. Then the pack settled a bit until Norris pulled a move around the outside at turn 1 on Max, which was important for his race. Hadjar hanging on to his starting position off the line and despite constant pressure from Leclerc, held his head and looked comfortable up the front, which was impressive. Albon got a wicked start and up 5 places, taking the disappointment of qualifying and getting himself up into the points from early on. Colapinto passing Gasly on track and then only to be told to let Gasly back past after a few laps later, so I'm not too sure what was going on there. But for Colapinto to be racing with Gasly is the result I would take coming off the break and off the back of Flab saying he isn't impressed with Franco, so hopefully this shuts him up for a while. Hamilton had made some progress throughout the weekend, but only lasted 23 laps, and as the light rain came down, he found the barrier. Before the race in the driver's parade, he was looking for the dark clouds and hoped that some rain could sprinkle some chaos, and he can benefit from that. So how ironic that the first sense of some rain, he meets Mr. Barrier. Then to add salt to the wound, he's been given a 5-place grid penalty for Ferrari's home race in Monza for not slowing enough for double waved yellows on one of the laps to the grid before the race. The FIA report actually said he got a penalty for not slowing enough, which is very vague because he braked 70 meters earlier and was 20 kilometers an hour slower, but apparently in the regulations that wasn't enough, so go figure. And that should make the Tifosi pretty pissed leading up to the home race for Ferrari this weekend. Then more Ferrari pain as Leclerc got done over by his teammate who caused a safety car 1 lap after Leclerc pitted, losing him a few places just for funsies. Sainz and Lawson making contact on the restart and somehow Sainz got a 10-second penalty and he was livid and is going to bolt up to the stewards' room after the race and ask them what the hell is going on with that racing standards as the co-chair of the GPDA, but it turned out they didn't actually want to chat with him, so denied, I guess. Yet another interruption with the virtual safety car, but that made way for a bold move from Leclerc, who absolutely muscled Russell out the way at turn 11 and then held him off quite late into turn 1 braking zone. The race was looking a bit dull up until Antonelli pitted for softs, causing Leclerc to cover off the potential undercut, but then put at the same point on the track, like the exact same point on the track, with Antonelli taking Leclerc out and causing yet another safety car, while then speeding in the pit lane and getting an additional 5-second penalty, with a 10-second penalty already gained for the collision. So I think maybe Antonelli needed another week's worth of summer breaks instead. We had Behrman starting in the pit lane, which was pretty much game over from there before the race even started. So I wasn't paying much attention until he started making progress on fresher hards, and then boom, he bagged a 6th place finish, getting what he deserves finally, and without a 10th place grid penalty, this is what can actually be achieved by him. I'm so happy he listened to me over the summer break. And then after all of that, we had Stroll starting to make progress from staying out and working his way from last on the grid to a very surprising 7th, but not quite the podium I was looking for from him. But hey, at least he does something when you poke him with a stick. The Dutch track and the fans didn't forget what Norris said about 12 months ago, and Norris's DNF was not simply lovely, eh? It's not really fair, and you don't want the championship decided by that, but the Orange Army were maybe thinking a bit of karma from last year. Still, that's gonna hurt, but a silver lining is it gave Hadjar a podium, which he was ecstatic about, and which also puts Hadjar tied 9th in the championship with the Hulk. And Isaac has also scored more points than the second Red Bull car has all season so far, so that's just madness. Lando's DNF also promoted Max to 2nd at his home Grand Prix, and has Alonso asking what if Max was in the sister car, but I don't think that's fair to say with that performance of Hadjar put in today, and an amazing podium, and by far the star of the day. His celebrations after were so funny, and then not so funny. Albon in 5th is just amazing. Can someone explain that to me? Wow, just unreal effort and great result for Williams to secure 5th in the Constructors for a little bit longer. So, a double Ferrari DNF, but this time it's not a double DSQ and has nothing to do with paint wear either. Another disaster weekend for the team in red, but that's pretty much the standard for 2025 so far. Also, just a side note, can I get a petition going for Jacques to be banned from a microphone? Because saying that maybe F1 isn't for Kimi Antonelli is up there with some of the most ridiculous things he has said, and to try and grab a headline. His argument was very weak after that, and it's just embarrassing for him to say things like this. It doesn't help that he looks like he's stuck a fork in a PowerPoint, and instead of singeing his hair, it's actually turned a bleach blonde. Anyway, that's my Dutch race debrief, and as well as my pastry pick. I thought my predictions were on there for a bit, but I will take this race over a 72 lap Ballfest any day. Let me know what you think of the chaos we just witnessed in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.